A very good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are safe and secure at home. Stay home, stay safe. Welcome back to Social Studies online class, History part, 12th lesson, Democratic and Nationalist Revolutions, 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. Democratic and Nationalist Revolutions, 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. So, in the previous class we discussed about England, the Civil War and the Glorious Revolution or Bloodless Revolution, and American Independence 1774 to 1789 CE, and the Declaration of American Independence. Next, French Revolution. Once again revise our previous class. In the France, socio and economic conditions. Socio and economic condition, French society divided into three categories. One is clergy, the first estate, and then we have noble, second estate, and then we have the third estate. These estate people coming under the businessmen, officials, peasants, artisans, small peasants and landless laborers. So all people come under the third estate. The first estate, first and second, the first estate clergy, remembering all the members belong to church. The second estate belong to the noble people. So these people have by birth, they have the unique special status that the clergy and nobles will never have to pay any tax because of their special birth privileges. Next, growing middle class and end of privileges. So first estate, second estate people have some privileges. So next, growing middle class and end of privileges. Next, the outbreak of the revolution, the tennis court of oath, France become a constitutional monarchy, the cause of the revolt, the reign of terror, women and French Revolution. From the very beginning, women were active participants in the events that made any important changes in the French society. Most women of the third estate had to work for living. Women started their own political clubs and newspapers to discuss and voice their interest. One of their main demand was that women should get same political right as men. Women were disappointed that the Constitution of 1791 made these passive citizens. Women demanded for the right to vote, to be elected to the assembly and hold political positions. Children, next topic we will discuss about rule of directory. Napoleon gets power. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest military dictator in the history. Napoleon Bonaparte, a warrior, emperor, despot, which changed the face of Europe. So, in the French society, the National Convention framed a constitution. It led to a formation of directory, an executive team made up of 5 members to rule France. So the members were incapable, corrupt, and there were no unity among them. So it lost the popularity among the people. The government treasury was empty. So the currency value decreased 100%. So unemployment increased in the France. The people, vexed by different politics, looked up for a leader who could protect the revolution and lead the country. So Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, who got series of victories to France, was considered the man of hope. Napoleon finally captured power with the help of Abbassides. He formed a new government called Consulate and ruled 5 years in 1799 to 1804 as the first consul. Later he declared himself the Emperor of France and ruled for another 10 years in 1805 to 1815 CE. So the political constitutional changes that happened because of the French Revolution led to the transfer of control from again monarchy. So when Napoleon came to power, it was step backward. He could not remove the spirit of republic from people, though he formed an empire when Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo. Battle of Waterloo in 1815 CE. Monarchy was revived in France again. So, through all these changes in the forms of government, the ideals of freedom, equality and fraternity these three kept inspiring people. So these ideals motivated political movements in France and the rest of Europe during the following centuries. So French Empire reached its peak under Napoleon's rule. Napoleon defeated Austria and Prussia, and he also occupied the Spain and Portugal. So Napoleon Bonaparte defeated Austria, Prussia of the Europe. He also occupied Spain and Portugal. With these victories, Napoleon turned into an emperor by 1810. So as the whole of the Europe came under his control, under Napoleon Bonaparte control, except England and Turkey. All the monarchic powers merged into an alliance under the leadership of England to defeat Napoleon. Understand, children? All the monarchic powers merged into an alliance. Alliance means group or friends. So an alliance under the leadership of England to defeat Napoleon. After many attempts, this alliance could defeat Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. In the same year 1815, Vienna Congress changed the political structure of Europe under the chairmanship of Metternich, the Prime Minister of Austria. So, in the same year, in 1815, Vienna Congress changed the political structure of Europe under the chairmanship of Metternich, the Prime Minister of Austria. Monarchy was restored in many of the kingdoms. Louis XVIII was appointed as the King of France. So Charles X was succeeded by him. He tried for the revival of the special rights of the nobles and clergy people. first estate and second estate people. He abolished the freedom of press and House of Representatives. So thus in 1830 revolution took place and his close relative Louis Philippe was appointed as the king. He failed in bringing reforms which the people wished. So later the revolutionaries declared France the Second Republic. France, the Second Republic. So though the monarchy was abolished in 1848 in France, it was restored under the regime of Napoleon III. Finally in 1871, France was declared republic for the third time under the leadership of Leon Gambetta. Understand, children? So the monarchy was abolished in 1848 CE. It was restored under the regime of Napoleon III in 1871. So France was declared republic for the third time under the leadership of Leon Gambetta. Next topic, unification of Germany. A very good politician called Otto von Bismarck became the chief minister of Prussia in 1862. The spirit of nationalism had been growing in the German states. The ideals of liberty and equality that fueled the French Revolution had begun to inspire other people across Europe. In 1834, a customs union formed by Prussia and other German states abolished trade and tariff barriers across 39 German states and standardized currency. Thus, a sense of economic nationalism was beginning to strengthen nationalist sentiments. Culturally, too, romantic poets and writers were beginning to use German folk stories and folk arts to define national identity. By 1848, men and women of the liberal middle classes began to demand a nation-state based on parliamentary principles such as an elected constitution, freedom of press, and freedom of associations. On May 18, 1848, over 800 elected representatives of Frankfurt Parliament drafted the constitution for a German nation in which monarchy would be subject to the parliament. While this parliament did not last, the liberal nationalist sentiments of the German states kept growing. It was these circumstances that in 1862, Otto von Bismarck became the chief minister of Prussia. In the year that followed, Bismarck used war, tact, and treachery to strengthen Prussian power. So, unification of the German states was a part of his plan. In 1863, the King of Denmark annexed the disputed duchies Schleswig and Holstein. The people of Prussia felt that these German-speaking duchies rightfully belonged with them. So Bismarck gave the Danish to left go of the territories. When the Danish king Christian IX refused, Bismarck acquired the support of Austria, and together they defeated Denmark in 1864. Thus, Denmark was forced to cede both duchies as per a signed agreement between Austria and Germany. In 1865, Schleswig went to Prussia and Holstein was given to Austria. So, Austria, however, was unhappy with the settlement that gave the control of Schleswig to Prussia. So, in 1866, Austria asked for a renewed arrangement for the two duchies. So, aware of a possible clash, Bismarck sought military help from Italy. He also sought neutrality from France in case of war with Austria. The Austro-Prussian War of 1866 at Sadowa ended in another significant victory for Prussia. The two duchies of Schleswig and Holstein, among other areas, were returned to Prussia, and Austria was excluded from the German political system. So, at this point, some states in the north united to form the North German Confederation. Bismarck's next strategy was to incite the French into war so that the various German states would unite with Prussia in nationalist powers. The French Emperor Napoleon III has begun to realize that they did not derive any real gains from agreement with Prussia. Bismarck now provoked France by offering the vacant throne of Spain to Prince Leopold, a relative of the Prussian king. Understand, children? The French Emperor Napoleon III has begun to realize that they did not derive any real gains from agreement with Prussia. Bismarck now provoked France by offering the vacant throne of Spain to Prince Leopold, a relative of Prussian king. Soon France and Prussia were at war. The South German states joined the pressure in the war against France. Once again, Prussia won the war under the Treaty of Frankfurt. On 18th January 1871, at the Hall of Mirrors, Versailles, King William I of Prussia was crowned Emperor of United Germany. Thus, the diplomacy, iron will, and strategy, Bismarck achieved the unification of Germany. Next topic, unification of Italy. Like Germany, Italy also had a long history of being politically broken down into small parts. Italians were scattered over many dynastic states as well as the multinational Habsburg empires. During the mid-19th century, Italy was divided into 7 states, of which only one, Sardinia Piedmont, was ruled by Italian princely house. The north was under the Austrian Habsburg, the center was ruled by the Pope, and the southern region were dominated by the Bourbon kings of Spain. Even the Italian language did not have one common form and still had many regional and local variations. So, during the 1830s, Giuseppe Mazzini had tried to put together a program for uniting Italy into an Italian republic. he had also formed a secret society called Young Italy for achieving these goals. Now this meant that now Sardinia Piedmont under its rule, the King Victor Emmanuel II had to unify the Italian states through war. Prime Minister of Cavour, who led the movement to unify the regions of Italy, made a tactful diplomatic alliance with France that he had designed. With the result, Sardinia Piedmont succeeded in defeating the Austrian force in 1859. In 1860, apart from regular troops, a large number of armed volunteers called Red Shirts under the leadership of Giuseppe Garibaldi entered South Italy and the kingdoms of Two Sicilies. When France withdrew its troops from Rome during the Franco-Prussian War in 1870, Victor Emmanuel II occupied it and completed the unification of Italy. In 1871, Victor Emmanuel was proclaimed the King of United Italy. Okay children, hope you all understood the topics. England, the Civil War and the Glorious Revolution, American Independence and Declaration of American Independence, French Revolution and unification of Germany, unification of Italy. Thank you.